Baca sampai lali ya. Subscribe.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. This time I will share my review about Windows 11. So, please sit back and relax in your chair and enjoy the video. After 6 years during which Windows 10 remained largely unchanged, the world's most popular desktop operating system is getting a major overhaul with the unveiling of Windows 11. That's despite Microsoft proclaiming Windows 10 as the last version of Windows. No matter, after a couple years of ho-hum updates, the Windows using world, at least some of it, has something to get excited about. That said, when we first ran Windows 11 we were surprised that it still wasn't that different from Windows 10, despite its very new look. Not as much as we'd expected it to be, based on the screenshots we'd seen. Sure, it looks nicer with rounded corners for all windows, the taskbar icons in the middle, and more elegant settings dialogues, but it didn't feel totally alien or require a whole new process the way Windows 8 did. What are Windows 11's requirements and how do you get it? Much has been made over the system requirements for Windows 11, but they're actually very low. 1 GHz CPU, 4 GB RAM, and 64 GB storage. You'll also need a computer with a TPM security chip and secure boot capability. Those are less of a problem than the internet is making them out to be, as they've been standard on most PCs for the last 6 or so years. The real limiter will be the CPU model, which needs to be from about the last 4 years. If you're already enrolled in the Windows Insider program and have been receiving dev channel builds of Windows 10, the requirements are less stringent. I've been enrolled in the program, so I was able to install Windows 11 on a 7th generation Intel Core i5 processor even though the requirements say you need an 8th gen model. Anyone with one of the newer chips should have no trouble installing Windows 11 via the Insider program. Outside of the Insider program, the latest word is that standard upgrades to Windows 11 from Windows 10 won't be available until 2022. My take is that Microsoft really doesn't want users to upgrade to Windows 11. It wants them to buy new PCs. As with Windows 10, there's a Home and a Pro version of Windows 11. Just like when installing Android, iOS, and macOS, you'll need to sign into an online account to upgrade to Windows 11 Home. A fact that's raised the ire of some commenters, though I really don't think it's an issue worth getting worked up about. If you really don't want to sign in with an online account for your operating system, may I suggest Ubuntu from Canonical, though even Canonical would also like you to sign in. Windows 11 interface. That out of the way, let's take a look at what's new in Windows 11. Much of the work is interface redesign rather than actual features, and as I mentioned above, Windows 11 is more familiar than you may expect, despite some rearranging and updating the furniture. It borrows from Chrome OS, though the desktop still offers app icons, which Google's lightweight desktop OS does not. Windowing and multitasking are still far more advanced in Windows 2. The interface gets macOS's rounded corners for all windows, which is not really a significant change, but does give the OS a softer look. Taskbar, Start menu, and File Explorer. For decades, the Windows Start button has lived in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, so, small detail though it may be, getting used to it being at the left edge of centered icons could be one of the bigger adjustments you'll need to make. The issue for me is that the Start menu has heretofore always been in the exact same place, but now, if you run more programs, it moves a bit more to the left. Not having to think at all about the Start button's position was a plus in all previous Windows versions. Happily, a taskbar alignment option lets you go back to having the Start button in the left corner. The Start menu gets a major overhaul in Windows 11. Vestigial tiles are at the top of its panel, with recent and frequent apps and documents below them. The Start menu's new mini tiles are still good for touch input, but you lose info that Live Tiles offers, annoying as those could sometimes be. File Explorer in Windows 11. File Explorer is a good example of the Windows 11's new look, particularly its updated left panel controls and folder icons. Note the simplified ribbon along the top, which is far less busy and distracting than the previous File Explorers. The new button at top left works for new folders or documents supported by your apps, and the same viewing options, list, details, differently sized icons, for files are available. On-screen keyboard in Windows 11 is customizable. Touch support is still a focus for Windows tablets. The on-screen keyboard gets an update and now allows custom backgrounds. Tablet mode looks similar to the desktop interface, though there's more space between the taskbar icons. Touch gestures are improved, as noted in other sections here, and there's a new pen menu for stylus users. Widgets in Windows 11. One of the few actual new features in Windows 11 is this widget panel. It's not entirely new either, since the News and Interests taskbar pop-up that arrived in Windows 10 recently does nearly the same things. I've gotten used to having the News and Interests weather indicator always in the taskbar. To see the same info, you have to click on the Windows 11 widgets icon. In addition to news and weather tiles, third-party developers can offer content through Windows 11's widgets too. Touchscreen users can easily swipe in from the left to open them, and you can full screen the widget panel if you want a bigger view. Notification and quick settings. Microsoft has split the Windows 10 Action Center into two separate panels and tab targets. This resembles what Apple has done with macOS's notifications, which used to be a clean, simple, single panel, but which are now a collection of smaller pop-ups. The Windows 11 version isn't quite as bad as the macOS one, but I still prefer the single Action Center panel for notifications and quick settings. Settings. The new settings interface is pleasantly redesigned, but some advanced dialogues still show elements of the old design. Dark mode in Windows 11. Light and dark mode settings are still found in the personalization colors setting area, and the modes look much better than in Windows 10, particularly the dark mode, which uses transparency effectively. Dark mode can now hold its head up proudly when compared with that of macOS. You can still change system sounds in settings, but the new Windows 11 default set of sounds is slick, quick, and modern. Layouts and multitasking. Windows has long surpassed macOS in the way it lets you arrange app windows on screen, and the gap grows even wider with Windows 11's new Layouts option. You get to this by hovering the cursor over the Maximize button at top right of any window. This seems a bit hidden to me, and I hope and expect Microsoft will surface the capability more in the final release. The current app window goes to the position in the layout you click, shown as blue here, and you can move it to another position the same way at any time. After you have a set of apps in a layout, you can hover on any of their icons in the taskbar to see the layout group to easily restore the Windows arrangement, in what Microsoft is calling a snap group. The new task view, showing multiple desktops with different backgrounds. Windows still offers multiple virtual desktops, something I find incredibly useful for separating work apps and websites from personal ones. I either hit Ctrl Windows key arrow to move back and forth between them or the Windows key tab keyboard shortcut to choose one from task view. With Windows 11. Microsoft Store in Windows 11. One marquee feature is that Windows 11 will be able to run Android apps, though with some caveats. You also get all the standard apps like Photos, the Groove Music Player, Voice Recorder, Paint 3D, Mail, Calendar, and so on. We can hope for the last two mentioned to be greatly improved as Windows 11 development progresses. Gaming and new technologies. PC gamers are never forgotten in major new Windows updates, and Windows 11 is no exception. Two areas benefit: game selection and technologies. For the first, the Xbox app built into Windows 11 will offer access to the Xbox Game Pass collection of video games. What's no longer there? A couple of windowing conveniences that I personally like but are apparently little used are going away. Arrow Peek and Arrow Shake are gone in the Windows 11 preview build I test on my test laptop. Cortana was indeed pre-installed since it was previously installed, but Microsoft says the AI voice assistant won't be pre-installed on Windows 11 systems. Live tiles are gone too, with widgets now replacing their functionality. No doubt there will be more features put out to pasture by the time Windows 11 is released. that was my review about Windows 11 which was just released. I hope this video is useful for you guys. And see you in the next video.
Baca sampai lali ya. Subscribe.